What's up, guys? Legacy 4x4 here, back again. I'm at my brother's and we got some big things planned. So as you can tell, I'm at my brother's. We're gonna build the roll cage and the floorboards. Well, other way around. We're gonna build the floorboards, the floor substructure, and the roll cage. Maybe some tube doors. Maybe all the tube work a lot. We got all of our DOM steel underneath the Jeepster project. We've got the 38 outside right now. Just got it towed over here. In case you can't tell, it's a little low. It's a tad low to the ground, like just a small little snippet low to the ground. The cross section broke off the rear. This 100-year-old cross section broke off its mount down there, but it's all good. We're going to raise it back up, put the new cross section in, make all new mounts for the floor substructure, and then make it structural from that point and not use any of that old metal for any of the structure. I mean, the body is literally just gonna be the skin. With that being said, Jake is up there doing homework right now because the Army gave him homework, so I have like half a day to get working. We'll see how far I get in terms of the floor and the floor substructure before he gets out there. All right, so I got the body back jacked up. Everything's in place to where I think I want it, and I think all the lines are perfectly aligned with the body where I want it to have the perfect amount of rake for me. So now it's going to come down to trying to figure out exactly where I want to put the floors and the rockers and the structure, because that's where all the work's going to come in, the design's going to come in, because the structure's going to have to come from there. And it's already a rusted out piece of shit. So the real thing is just trying to make it as structural as possible, deal with all this rust, and try and find a way to combine all this new steel with all this old, 100-year-old rust. All right, so my solution's going to be, from what I'm thinking, is use this lower section to mount support structure right to the frame, notch it into the door right here, start the frame like that, come flat until there's an arch in the frame, because the CJ5 frame has an arch in it. Put a support structure going across, notched into the doors and into the support right here, flat across the frame, run it together, touch it to the other side. That will create structure in the rear, and then do a kind of diagonal rocker going along with the frame and then flat. And this flat part is where the seat and everything else, and everything behind that is going to be for like the radiator, the fuel cell, the battery, electronics, things like that. They're all going to be in the rear. I'm going to get to creating that cross section, and we'll see what it's like when it's done. Crossbar is welded in. That was a lot of really ugly welds, but 100-year-old metal, kind of brand new metal, was sitting outside. It's kind of hot. Just, you'd be really careful not to burn through it. In case you can't tell, I might have burned through the skin on this side entirely, because I did weld it to the skin on the very outside, and I welded it to this little inner frame, or inner skin. I cut a tab in it, welded that tab to this as well, welded the top and welded the bottom. Then I also welded it to the skin on the inside, which is really ugly, but it's on there. I know it's on there. I know it's not gonna break when the rest of the structure's there. Gonna call it good for that one. Got that in. It's a little bit off skew, but that's because the body is bent, because there is no support besides this one piece and maybe that rusted bar a little bit and the roof. So it's off skew a little bit, but from you're not gonna be able to tell from side to side, so is what it is. I'm gonna move on to making the rest of the structure. This is in place, blocks are gone. Time to build the rest of the floors. I'm gonna stare at it until I figure out what to do first. Are you guys ready for my crazy idea? Put a 2x2 piece, so this whole floorboard's gonna be structural 2x2, right? Nice and structural. I'm gonna put a 2x2 piece going from the end of the trans tunnel into this elbow right here, and then I'm gonna put a 90-degree bend, or a 90-degree weld, and another 2x2 piece going from right below where this hinge is right here on this bolt. Put that bend right there, weld all the old metal to it. Gonna be somewhat structural, but that one doesn't have to be that structural because we got the front motor mounts in place already right there, or the front body mounts in place already. So it doesn't have to be too structural, just enough. And then we're gonna run that 90 all the way flat to the bottom of the skin right here. Weld that in place and make it touch the skin and weld to this old skin. Structure is going to come from a 45-degree bar, same 2x2, just cut 45 degrees, go from that 90 up into this plate. Should make it all structural. Shouldn't put any, it should put the smallest amount of tension possible on the body, and it should, you know, be structural itself, because I need this central cab area from right here forward to be structural, because this is where I'm gonna sit, right? The rest of this body and stuff, when the roll cage is in, it's gonna like, the body's gonna kind of rest on the roll cage a little bit. It's gonna get tied into the roll cage, and honestly, like, there's not gonna be any floorboards back there, so I could honestly care less. All right, I found help. Finally came out to help. We ended up doing a like triple stack 2x2 for the rockers, and our thought process is we're gonna do we're gonna use a plasma cutter when it works next week to build a little legacy 4x4 drop, like nameplate drop on the side. So you won't be able to see it. We didn't weld the inside. We just stitched the outside. You won't be able to see it, but you will see the legacy 4x4, which I think will be sick. We did that so we could match the floorboards up evenly with where the CJ floorboards were in the, like in the, you know, 1979 CJ5. So we did that to match the floorboards and, you know, have room for the seats and everything. We're trying to think ahead, and I think it looks good. I think when we both think when we get done with it and have the plasma cut emblems on the side, it'll look sick. So, and then we're gonna use tube doors to kind of mimic that look too. Like I said, we just stitched the inside. Jake's stitching the inside, the other one now, and yeah. We're gonna be back when we start making the rest of the substructure and trying to figure out where the next pieces are gonna go, but we'll keep you guys in the loop. We will. Interesting. All right, substructure is mostly done. We might add some more elbows right here just in case we want to put the seats this far back. Maybe some in the front for the pedals and foot support area, but most of it's done. We're gonna start cutting out the sheet metal. Obviously this isn't it. We're gonna start cutting it out, and we're gonna start from the back, which is gonna be right here, because this is all gonna be skeleton back here until the roll cage and until everything else we put in, like electronics and stuff. So we're gonna do the cab area first. Butter. All right, making some progress. Everything's gonna stay stitched, and I'm not gonna find out what any of the sheet metal. It's only gonna be stitched and then bedlined eventually, but yeah, that's how it looks. Sorry I'm not recording. I'm probably not even gonna record till it's done. It's just a lot of work, tedious work, and it's really just Jake inside, plasma cutting his little heart out, plasma cutting all of the sheet metal. Really appreciate him helping me with this, because this would have took me forever. So, and his plasma cutter, his plasma cutter for the table, the $1,000 one, pretty nice, works pretty well. So really appreciate him helping me. We're going to power through this. I'll be back when all of it's done and in place. Calling it a day. We gotta go get food, so food's important, and it's also getting dark, and there's a homeowners association here. Whack. Gonna call it a day. It's all in. We gotta finish pinning the upper part of the new metal to the old firewall, clean up the trans tunnel area. I don't think I'm gonna have a trans tunnel. Jake wants me to have a trans tunnel. I don't think I'm gonna have a trans tunnel. I want people to be scared. I want them to see their fate awaiting them. We're gonna terminate the sheet metal work right here at this bar, and that way the rear is all gonna be roll cage, tube work, fuel cell, radiator, and a bunch of other, you know, all the random stuff, but there's not gonna be any floor or anything back there, because I think that's metal. Also, both of us really like the way these rockers turned out. We're really proud of them. They're pretty cool. Especially, they'll be real cool when they have the legacy emblem and the 4x and legacy 4x4 and off-road on the sides. It'll be really cool, but they're still pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get to finishing the rest of the floor. I really don't. Doing the floors. We're gonna finish up the floors right now, which is gonna be the trans tunnel. I went ahead and I buttoned up all these little small crevices and openings that I had. I mean, it's gonna get bedline and stuff anyways, but I went ahead, filled all of those. You know, I welded the rest of the floorboards up enough to where it's not gonna bother me. It's solid. It's solid. It won't go anywhere. But we do need a trans tunnel, so I think the design's gonna be, from talking with Jake about it, aka listening, I think the design's gonna be just like a box, put a piece of 1x1 on top, do the same thing right here, sheet metal up, sheet metal up, sheet metal flat, cutouts, sheet metal around the transmission. I think that's it. So I'm gonna go make that box. All right, that's the last of the floor that I think we're gonna do. We got the big broad strokes of the floor done. Put the trans tunnel in. Y'all saw that. Made a structure. This is solid. You could do it. You could jump and sit on this, hit it with a hammer. It's not gonna go anywhere. The 1x1 is solid enough. Did the same sheet metal work that we did the rest of it. Left 2 little pockets to drain just in case. And we also did a little curve. It's for hitting with a hammer, but it's the same on both sides. And there's some gaps you see. I'm gonna use seam sealer on all the big seams, like on all the corner seams and stuff, just to be safe. And then when I seam seal it, then I'll do the bed liner for the floor section, and the rest of it's gonna be PR15. But that's technically how it's gonna work. That's why I'm not too worried about some of these seams in trans tunnel, because you know, Eastwood seam sealer, godsend, makes, you know, doing shoddy work become a little better when you just cover it up with bed liner and seam sealer and every other kind of product you want, maybe spray paint too. But so that's it for right now. And so we spent, you know, 2 days doing substructure of the floor, floors, sheet metal work, and then the whole roll cage, and the whole roll cage happened in a day. So we feel good about it.